Why do people invest in property? Well, I suppose that's a multi-million pound question, isn't it? The best way for me to explain this is to explain why I invest in property and why my friends invest in property and my family invest in property. From early age, well, 20 onwards, I was always fascinated in property. My dad was in the construction industry. I was always good with my hands, DIY. I had an engineering job. So I suppose some of my interest in property was based around my environment. Now moving on all these years, I've got 4 children and 4 grandchildren. My children are invested in property, as are many of my colleagues. So why does everyone invest in property? Well, not everyone, but why do people invest in property? Well, property is an asset. It's a rock solid bricks and mortar asset, just like gold. Stocks and shares, they're not really a fixed asset as such. So just like property, stocks and shares can go up and down in price, can't they? Property, however, despite going up and down over the years, long term, it will always increase in value. And as we get older, we begin to realize that property really is a sound investment, as long as you do it properly and wisely, of course. So when you invest in property, whether it's for short term or long term, it can create some kind of wealth for you. Now, it might be short-term cash flow, because if you rent a property, that can create an income for you and your family. But at the same time, as we know, property always increases in value. So if you buy a property, say for £100,000 today, in maybe 10 years time, it would be worth £150,000. So if you're maybe thinking of retiring and using or investing in property as a pension or means of a pension fund, it's a great asset to do so. As time goes on, more and more people are beginning to realise that the demand for housing generally across the globe, not just in the UK, is increasing. And when demand increases on something, what happens? Its price increases. Now, I know a number of people who I coach who have decided to invest in property. They haven't got a clue about property, and yet they want to invest. And sometimes I wonder why. Is it because of the things they see on social media? Is it because they've become a little bit wise and they're looking to create security for their family? Who knows? It could be a number of different reasons. However, the best advice I can hand on heart give is invest in property if it is something you feel is right for you. You don't have to have a lot of money to invest in property. There are lots of different ways to invest in property, whether you've got money or not. The key here is whenever you invest in property, you've got to be able to afford to do so. Now, you may see on social media a lot of people claiming that you can invest in property for free, you can buy property for free. That's not strictly true. And the reason I say that is because no matter what you buy, you've got to be able to afford to repay the money that maybe you've borrowed to buy a property. Now, even if you've invested your savings to buy a property, it doesn't mean to say that you bought it free, does it? Because you've used your savings to do so. So I do get a little bit frustrated when I see people claiming that you can buy property for free or with little or no money. In reality, you do. So let's get that straight first and foremost. I also know people who've got incredibly well-paid jobs. So they've got maybe a little bit of extra income that they can put to one side to invest in property. And I know people who are not on a very huge, who haven't got a huge income that will invest in property. Because like I say, there are different means and ways of doing so. However, if you think logically and you decide to invest in property, say today, whether it's a buy-to-let or it's a flip, okay, ideally, if you do it properly, you're going to make money. So let's say you find a property and you want to buy it and then rent it out. So you do that, you buy the property, you spend a bit of money upgrading it, whatever, you've increased its value slightly, and then you've pulled some money out, okay, refinanced it, got your money back, and you're getting a rental income, which is great. It might not be a huge amount of income, but every penny helps, right? But at the same time, whether you rent that property out for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5, 10, 20, the value of that property is going to increase. And this is what is so appealing, because you know your money is invested in bricks and mortar that is safe. It's not going to go anywhere. Nobody can pick it up and run away with it. As long as you maintain it and keep it in a good condition, its value is going to increase. And at the same time, you're getting rental income. So it's a win-win situation. Now, you may want to do a flip, for example. Now, my son has recently just invested in a property, and he's going to renovate it, and then he's going to sell it because he bought it at below market value. And because he bought below market value means he's already on a win-win situation. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say, for example, the property was worth £100,000 and he bought it for, say, £80,000. That's £20,000 below market value, isn't it? Which means if he wanted to, he could just put it back on the market for £100,000 and make a quick £20,000 profit. So can you see, because he's bought it below market value, he's already quids in, so to speak. Now he's going to spend some money renovating it, to upgrade it, modernize it. So its value is going to increase substantially because we've done the figures. And then he can sell it, pull that money out, or he can rent that property, refinance it, pull his money back out, and then do it again. And again, the compound effect, isn't it? So investing in property offers you a secure and safe way of investing your money, whether on a short and or long-term basis. Now, if you're looking to invest in property, say for your children, okay, to pass on to them, what could be a better asset than property to do just that? You hear on the internet lots of people complaining, well, if you've got tenants, they're going to be nightmares to deal with. Do you know what? There are more good tenants than there are bad. And if you look after your tenants, hopefully they'll look after your property. It's not as bad as people make out. Oh, don't bother doing this. You've got to pay taxes here and taxes there. Look, if you invest in stocks and shares and make a profit, you've got to pay a tax on your profit. In any case, it's no different with property. You just need to know what you're doing, how to do it, and make sure you do it correctly. I can't stress enough that compared to any other type of investment or any type of investment opportunity that you may come across, investing in property, in my opinion, is definitely the best investment that you could make. And that is exactly why I invest in property, why members of my family invest in property, and all the other people that I know invest in property. You'll see other videos popping up. By all means, have a look at those because, you know, I try to share as much valuable information about investing in property as I can. So like I say, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Give us a thumbs up, a like. I'd love to hear from you. If you've got any questions, by all means, you can direct message me and I'll try my best to get back to you as soon as I can. So until my next video, I will wish you well and hope to see you soon.